Hi, welcome back. This is Adventures with Dr. Joe. Today we're looking at a Franchi Italian shotgun 12 gauge imported in the US by Benelli, and we're going to take it apart, figure out how to clean it, and then reassemble it. I'm also going to label every part correctly based on Franchi and Benelli's exploded diagrams. There are many videos on YouTube that go through discussing shotguns and other weapons, but they mislabel them. They don't have the perfect name. So let's start by looking at all the parts of the shotgun and label them. There are many parts to a shotgun. When we look at it and pick it up, we know there's a stock, but part of the stock is called the comb. And if there's a steel plate here, that's called the butt plate. This is also known as a recoil pad, a recoil absorbing pad. This is the grip, and then we go into the receiver. Beneath this forearm or four-piece is the magazine. We have a trigger guard here, a trigger, a safety, and a release bolt. This button here is known as the action release. When we push it in, we're able to bring the carriage back and it will lock in place. This allows us to remove it, check our shells, etc. This button is the bolt release, and when we push it, the bolt moves forward, slams forward, and if there was a shell in there, it's going to grab the shell, rotate the action so it locks into the chamber. This part of the barrel is the chamber, front sight, and this is a sighting rib or a sighting rail, and they vary in position and size based on your shotgun. This one's pretty tall. One on my Benelli Montefeltro sits right on top of the barrel, so it depends. The magazine, like I said, is in here. This is the forearm or forestock, and this is the magazine cap. This is the first thing we remove to disassemble our gun. So we're going to take this off, and many guns, then the forearm comes off next. So there that is. Now in this gun, the barrel comes out next. Once we remove the barrel, then the forearm or four-piece can come out. We can see the spring, and here we've got the action, which is the next thing we're going to remove. All right, this area is also known as the action, but also known as the bolt. This is the bolt handle, which needs to come out. It's just a pressure fit, but let's bring the carriage back because it's resting on this after we do the action release button, and then we'll remove. Many times you can just take that out. Sometimes it needs a little persuasion like that. This is that handle, and that can just be cleaned up. Now, we've got the action back here, and we need to bring it forward to release it. And I do it by pushing the release button and just slowly allowing this to come forward, preventing my finger from being crushed. This is an inertia drive system, but it's very different from the Benelli. Benelli has a lever here that goes into a spring that's in the stock. This unit fits on this carriage, and then this is the spring that drives the inertia system. It works in the same way, but just a different mechanism. Now, to clean the action and to clean the inside of the gun, first of all, we can take the trigger assembly out by punching through this pin, which I think I'll do next. And then again, I wanted to show the action. This is the action, and you'll notice it has this little black lever. Incredibly important. This is the ejector. This grabs the edge of the shell and flings it out and then reloads the next one. Now it's held in place by a pin, the ejector pin, and inside of that is the ejector spring. So if you take that pin out, be really careful. This is a very small part. That spring's going to blast out of there. By the way, when I clean the barrel, I really like to use this Bore Max, this foam, bore foam, and first thing I do is I run a bore snake through the barrel. Then I use this bore foam probably a couple times, and it leaves an incredibly shiny, clean bore of the barrel. Hard to see, but I think you can see that. There you go. Look at that. So that barrel is really nice. These punches and mallet are made by the Grace Tool Company in Michigan. They're beautiful. Other ones will work, of course, but I don't think any are better than these. These are really fantastic. Plus, the Grace screwdrivers for gunsmithing are wonderful because the tip is perfectly parallel and it won't cam out. It protects everything. All right, so we've got a pin here that's going to release the trigger assembly. So I select an appropriate punch, start to punch that out. It's punching out fine. There it is. So the pin is out. Now the trigger assembly will just come out, just like that. I just got back from South Dakota pheasant hunting and I shot it at least a few hundred times. It worked flawlessly, didn't jam or anything, but it's worthy of a clean out now. So I'm just going to spray this action down after I wipe it a little bit just to get the gross stuff out of there. And we'll put it on this huck towel and spray it down. It really does dissolve all the gunk and gunpowder residue, etc. And you can see all of that now is just in this little black spot here, so it really cleans it up nicely. All right, so I've got the safety off. You can see the red here. This is the safety, of course. And I'm going to release the hammer. Boom. And that's what hits the firing pin. The firing pin goes through the action, connects with the cap in the center of the shotgun shell. It explodes and totally ignites the powder, which creates a big explosion. Super high pressure drives the wad, the cup, and inside of it all of the BBs that go out through the barrel. So you can see this actually works pretty nicely and it looks pretty clean. Now be careful, this little pin on the back wants to come out. Be sure you've got that centered. And if you do want to disassemble this, you just have to take these pins out, but I would probably videotape it so you can go in reverse and put it back together. But I'm not going to do any more than this. This is pretty good. I'm going to look in here now, and you can see we need a little cleaning in here, which I will do. At this point, a nice brass brush will be useful to further clean the inside of this. And then again, just wipe it out with a paper towel. And you're going to get a lot of black material, gunpowder residue, the remnants of whatever you oiled it with previously. And we're going to oil it. And the two oils that I like are the Rem oil or the Beretta oil. There's also a Benelli oil that's good too. I think they're all pretty equivalent. Putting just a little bit of oil in the action. To all the moving parts, all the parts that hinge. All the joints. Yeah, no, that's moving really nicely. So yeah, this trigger assembly is cleaned, lubricated. Now we're going to put it back. This, by the way, is the lever that you push in to load your shells into the magazine, and it also feeds up the next round into the action so it can grab it and push it into the chamber. All right, once you get it lined up, just tap it home, and this Delrin handle, the plastic hammer, is really good. So we'll seat it a little bit better. Yeah, that's good. You can see it on this side too. So there's that. There again with shoots, of course. So if you pull the trigger, you got to bring the hammer back. There I did. It's not hard. You just flick this back inside of there, and that will lock. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get the action back in there. Okay, now we're going to bring it back together. Here's the action. Fits in this slot, into this slot, and then this will basically be moving in here. I'll move it back to the point where I can put the bolt back. There it goes. And that's good. Then at this point, we'll bring back the forearm. It only fits one way. So, and here, let's get that out. We'll put the barrel back in place, and it fits on the end. And by the way, this red thing, this red tab at the end of the magazine is what prevents you from having more than 3 shells. If you want 5 shells, if you're shooting in Argentina, you can take that out. You can load 5 shells. But typically in the US, 3 is what you want. So we're going to bring the barrel back into position. There it goes. And at this point, we screw on the knob on the end of the magazine, and our gun's back together. So yeah, tighten it up. You can push it down on the table to be sure that the forearm is locked. Tighten it up. And now there it is. I'm just going to tap the release. There it goes. Release in place just a bit more. Now it's not going to move. Okay. Final note: if you want to be a good steward of your firearms, this Birchwood Casey gun stock wax is really nice. Basically, you need a nice cotton towel, which is what I recommend, and just wax it up. And that gives a really nice shine. Be careful where the checkering is, because wax can stick in there and be kind of annoying. But this is really a nice waterproofing and restorative thing. And you know, you've been sweating on this and your hands have been all over it and your normal oils and stuff. This really cleans it up and brings it back into new conditions. At the very end of the process, I want to coat the barrel with a little bit of rem oil. So I take some rem oil, put it on this towel, on this paper towel, and then literally just put a thin film on your barrel. Kind of smells nice. You'll never have issues with rust. It looks nice. If you found this useful, please click thumbs up. Enjoy your shooting, whether it's sport targets, clays, trap, or upland hunting, etc. Be safe. Shoot high, aim high. Don't injure anybody. Consider subscribing. Thank you.